Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic. This is the episode each week where we try the Times Cryptic Crossword, which on a Friday is normally the hardest of the week. I'm not sure that's true this week. And we talk you through our thought processes, such as they are, with a view to hopefully improving your own solving. And a happy Halloween to all of you. And I can tell you today's puzzle is by an old friend of mine who actually appeared in the Friday Masterclass a couple of weeks ago, John Grimshaw, an absolutely a polymath with just an incredible mind. And I'm quite pleased that Halloween has a John puzzle on it, because John, I remember, did one of my very favourite listener crosswords of all time. He made it. John constructs in the listener under the pseudonym Dimitri. And he played with the wording of at the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Because John obviously noticed that something wicked could be read as something wicked, as in something that has a candle in it. So there was a pumpkin in the grid that you could shade that had a candle in the minute. So something wicked this way comes. Anyway, I remember that very distinctly. And it's probably 20 years old, that puzzle. So that gives you an idea of the genius that we're dealing with in the form of John Grimshaw. Now let's have a look at the stats for today. I looked at the snitch first thing when I woke up, and it said it was about average. So there, Mark's that time there is probably slightly outside Mark's average, so very slightly harder than usual. Andrew Fisher there with a sub 6 minute time. Misty Gris is real. I should know the name of Misty Gris in real life, but I don't feel like I do. Jason James, phenomenal solver. Let's have a look at the top 100, see if I notice any other names. Dean's in there with a sub 10 minute time. So, yeah, I mean, can you get into the top 100 with an error? No, you can't. So it's probably doable today, but we'll see. We'll see. There's no guarantee I'll be able to do it. Now, have I got a dictionary? Yes, and look at that. That's amazing. So the dictionary obviously hasn't moved on my screen in a week, which is a rarity. Now, what else can I tell you about? Because I do have some things to mention. Well, on Sunday, I don't know if we're going to see anybody who watches this video. But Mark and I are going to be at the Stratford-upon-Avon Literary Festival doing a live edition of Cracking the Cryptic. I think we're going to be doing Sudoku rather than cryptic crosswords, but there'll be a chance to ask questions, a chance to meet anybody who's there afterwards. So we're really looking forward to that. There are still a couple of tickets available, so if you are in the Stratford-upon-Avon area, you might want to think about it. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning, I think, and I'll try and remember. I might forget. I'll try and remember to put a link under the video in case anyone is interested. Oh, over on Patreon, we're right at the end of October, and tomorrow we have a brand new competition starting on Patreon. Again, that's Sudoku based, but I know people love puzzles, so if you like cryptic crosswords, why wouldn't you like Sudoku? But that starts tomorrow. But also, if you do like your cryptic crossword content, Mark solves the Times Club monthly special, and he has just released his latest solve of that puzzle. And that is a video I watch every month because it is remarkable. Mark, the Club Monthly special from the Times is brutally difficult. It really is. Any vocabulary goes, and the clues are sort of deliberately tricky, should we say. And Mark attempts it without a dictionary, which is, I mean, it's a pretty staggering feat, to be honest. I would hazard a guess he's the only one on walking on the planet who can do that. So check that out. That is worth watching. Oh yeah, and it was very nice to be mentioned on a podcast last week. John Robbins and Ellis James podcast talked about Cracking the Cryptic, and this video indeed as a good way of getting into cryptic crossword solving. So thanks to them, and thanks also to Adam for the tip-off that we got the mention. Much appreciated. I haven't got any birthdays to do, at least in this video. I've got birthdays to do in the Sudoku video later. So why don't we get cracking, and let's do battle with Mr. Grimshaw. So it's this one first, isn't it? The Times Cryptic Crossword on Halloween. I wonder if it's Halloween themed. I'd love that. Oh, one across, 14 letters. Okay, here we go. Affected by brilliance, all the rage in act invites around. Okay, now I don't know what this is, but I talk about this at the start of every single one of these cryptic crossword masterclasses. If you've never done a cryptic crossword before, or you've only done one or two, or you're sort of not really familiar with how they work, it is essential to remember that every single one of these clues contains a definition of the answer, a straightforward definition. So if we could read these clues perfectly, we could reduce this, in theory at least, to being a quick crossword. Now, the definitional part of each clue is almost always at the start or the end of the clue. What's the rest of the clue? It's a recipe. It's a recipe that tells you how to make up, how to construct the answer out of different pieces. So it might put a word inside another word, or it might tell you to anagram a word, or it might tell you to reverse a word. But that's all recipe or wordplay. So let's read this clue and see if we can at least work out what it might be doing. So, affected by brilliance, all the rage in act invites around. I don't know what this is, but if I was guessing, I think this might be a 14-letter word that means affected by brilliance, like starstruck or something. And then all the rage, we want a word for all the rage. Fashionable, but I need a shorter synonym than that. It could just be in, I suppose. If something's in, it's fashionable. And then that's going to go inside act invites around. So that strikes me as it might be an anagram of act invites, which is 10 letters, isn't it? So that would give us 10 of the 14 letters. So all the rage, 4 letters. And the whole thing might mean affected by brilliance. Trans something? No. Transcendental? I'm not sure. Okay, let's try one down. That's an inauspicious start. 14 letters again. Source of sterility in badly written utopian satires. Okay. What have you done there? I think this one is something Ness. But I don't know. But the way I read it is source of sterility, I think might be the definition. And we're getting that out of badly written. Well, I think if the letters of utopian satires, and it look like there are about 14 of those, if they're badly written, they might be anagrammed, mightn't they? So a source of sterility. Now, a source of sterility makes it sound like it might be something to do with fertility or something, but I think it's more likely to be, if something is sterile, it's dull. So I think it's going to be a word that means, I don't know, but ending in ness maybe from the anagram fodder. Now the problem with this start is it's so terrible, because look how many checking letters, starting letters we get if we get either one across or one down. So maybe I should give these a little bit longer. Source of sterility. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, we're going to have to do this the hard way. Should we go? No, let's go for 9 across then. Oh, right. Okay, well, this is fortunate. And this is unsolvable, frankly. Not unsolvable, but incredibly difficult. Unless you've done a lot of cryptic crosswords or you're a botanist. So, Veronica's in good health following career. I mean, it's a very nice sentence about how well Veronica's doing. But I'm going to show you the answer to this by looking in the dictionary. In fact, no, I shouldn't do that, should I? This is a 9-letter word, and I'm going to tell you what the definition is. And unless you're a botanist, you're going to think, what? The definition here is the word Veronica. And you might say, but how does Veronica, even if you know a Veronica, John Grimshaw probably doesn't know the same, Veronica. So how can Veronica be a definition? Well, Veronica, believe it or not, actually, let's look at it. Speedwell is the answer. If we look up Veronica, does it actually just say, oh, it just says it, there you go. Speedwell genus. And the only reason that I know this is from doing cryptic crosswords and not being able to solve clues like this over a number of years. So how does it work? How does the recipe work? Well, if you're in good health, you are well. And that follows, it's following a word that means career. Now you may think career, why is that speed? Well, if you career down a hill, you sort of you'd go helter-skelter down the hill, wouldn't you? You'd speed. So career and speed are synonymous, and that is, at least we've got an answer in the grid. Let's try 2 down then. So 7 letters. Omit tasteless stuff before disturbing recitation of dreams. Omit tasteless stuff before disturbing recitation of dreams. Okay. I haven't quite got this yet. I've nearly got it. Right. Now, how did I get this? The reason is I saw the 2 words in this clue that were key to me understanding the clue were tasteless stuff. And Mark's big tip that he gives people when asked, how do you get better at cryptic crossword solving? He thinks the way to get better is to just learn thousands of short synonyms for words. Because the recipe part of the clue, the wordplay, is almost always going to rely on short synonyms of words, because if you're putting a word into another word, that word's likely to have to be quite a short word. Now, tasteless stuff, can you think of a very short word for tasteless stuff? And I can think of one, and it's tat, T-A-T. I think even in the dictionary it might even just literally say tasteless stuff. No, it doesn't, but you can see pretentious odds and ends of little real value, tat, tawdry or shabby articles. So tasteless stuff is tat. Now, let's read this as a recipe then. Omit tat before disturbing recitation. Well, can you see in the middle of recitation there is the word tat? So I think the recipe is saying miss tat out of the word recitation and then disturb the rest of the letters, anagram the rest of the letters. And you can see there are 7 of those. So the answer means of dreams. And therefore is of dreams. So what have we got here? Can I just put these letters in? We've got R, E. No, I've already used the R, C, E, I, O, N. Of dreams. It probably ends ick, doesn't it? Because of the of requirement. So what have we got left now? N, O, C and another I. Is it something like apicionados? Apicionados. I mean, that's a horrendous word, if that's right. That rings the vaguest of bells from sort of Greek mythology or something. I'm not sure. I might leave that there. I mean, thank goodness that's an anagram, because if that wasn't an anagram, I wouldn't get this. I wouldn't know the word. I don't know the word. And obviously I'm not going to look at the dictionary to check it's a word, because I view that as cheating. I'm not going to do that. I'm quite happy to explain things I know by reference to the dictionary, but I'm not going to look up answers. All right, let's try 3 down. Okay, so this one's slightly easier if you have a bit of experience. It's 5 letters. Men embarrassed over request. Now, I say it's slightly easier. It's only slightly easier once you know some techniques. So let's talk about what you need to know to serve this one. So again, always, if you are new to this, try and make yourself decide what you think the definition is here. Do you think it's men? Do you think it's men embarrassed? Or do you think it's the other side of the clue? Do you think it's request or over request? Make a decision and see how often you get it right. And you'll see over the weeks you'll start to get it right more often. Now, if you think that this is request, correct. We're looking for a 5-letter word that means request. Now, the key to this really is embarrassed over. Now, this is a down clue. So if you turn something over, you turn it upside down. And can we think of a short synonym for embarrassed? Well, the colour you go when you're embarrassed is red. So we've got a reversal of red here. Now, men, this is difficult if you're new to these puzzles. Men almost always refers to something military, because you know, how are you doing, men? You would say to your army. So you need to know loads of abbreviations for parts of the army. I know this as I'm saying it, it sounds ridiculous, but you do. And one of the ones that comes up a lot is other ranks, OR. OR plus reversal of red gives order, and if you order something, you request it. Now, let's talk about other possible abbreviations for soldiers. RA comes up a lot, the Royal Artillery. RE comes up a lot, the Royal Engineers. I'm trying to think if there's, there are probably others. TA, Territorial Army. We saw that last week, but it was described as volunteers. Anyway, there's a few ideas for what that could be, but relatively easy if you're familiar with the tricks. Now, shall we try and justify this O? 11 across, 5 letters. A little fear or remorse over slip up. Yeah, we can do this one. And O. I've obviously got my anagram wrong because the letter I'm getting here is not right. Okay, sorry. I'm going to have to concentrate harder on this one. How does this one work? Well, there's always one or two of these in every Times crossword, or almost always, and it's a hidden. And this is often the place to start if you're completely new to these puzzles. So what do I mean by hidden? I mean that literally the answer is spelt out by the clue. And John has to tell us that he's hidden the answer in the clue and how he's hidden it. So he does. He says a little, which means take a little of the phrase fear or remorse over. So turn over the phrase fear or remorse and then take a little of it. And if you see spelt out backwards within fear or remorse, we have ERROR, error. And an error is a slip up. So, okay, so how did I get my anagram fodder wrong here? What do I got? ER. So I've got CI, which is the end of it, isn't it? ION. ION. Whoa. Well, that N I don't think is going to go there. No, Eric? No, Eric? Is that a word? I don't know. So I'm wondering if it's this. It can't be, can it? That doesn't look like a word. Maybe it doesn't end IC. This is where a little bit of classical education would really help me. Ineoric of dreams. I don't know. Okay, let's try and justify the C then. 13 across, 8 letters. A drop of chalk, say, in Cataract on Hudson. What a brilliant surface that is. A drop of chalk, say, in Cataract on Hudson. I mean, it seems to be talking about a cataract, a sort of a waterfall on the Hudson River. The Hudson River stately flows between the Catskills' pigeon toes. A train's revealed, a train's obscured, a quote around a broken cup. I like to see it lap the miles and lick the valleys up. Google Earth-like soars his mind through clouds where snowstorms brew. New York State has dropped away and Massachusetts flew, and Newfoundland is ice-entombed and Rockall gull beshatten, where no eye sees the lightning flash its momentary pattern. Sorry, I always always come back to that. David Mitchell, for the not the comedian, the author. A drop of chalk, say. Okay, a drop of chalk is surely saying take a drop, take just a pinch of the word chalk. C. So A, C. E, okay, a drop of chalk. Say could be e.g. in cataract. So then we need a word for a cataract, 4 letters, and it means on Hudson. Hudson. I have a friend called Hudson. Huddo. I don't think he watches these videos. Face? Pace? Race? I mean, the C could be wrong, couldn't it? Actually, yeah, that's true. Race goer. Hudson. Cataract. I don't know. What's that? I don't know. Okay, let's chop all that out. I'm not sure about the C now. I'm less sure of it than I was. What was this one? Maybe my brain's thought about it while we've been focusing on other clues. This is the anagram of utopian satires, and it's the source of sterility. So it is tastelessness or something. No. Oh, it's not pasteurization, is it? It's pasteurization. If you're a source of sterility, if you sterilize milk. So pasteurization. Is that what it is? It could be. That would give me an R there. Race Hudson. Race. I really like the idea. This begins with race. Race. Race goer. Why? Cataract. I'm not sure. Okay, but anyway, now we've got a P. If pasteurization is right, we've got a P here. Affected by brilliance. Photosensitive? Ooh, photo. All the rage. Hot is all the rage. If something's hot, it's all the rage. Invites. Act. Okay, if you act, you pose, don't you? You play a role. And then invites around. So now we need an anagram of invites at the very end. So and that is going to give us photosensitive. Gosh, that's difficult. It is for me anyway. So photosensitive is what we've got. You can see just at the end there, the last 7 letters are an anagram of invites. Now what is? So this is onyric, is it? I mean, it might be. I don't know this word. I'm not, until I get this one, I'm not going to look it up. In case, have I definitely got the right anagram fodder? This is the sort of clue that annoys me, because it's such a strange word. And if you don't know it, if you have a classical education and this is just obvious, it's going to have some Latin root that means dreamy or something, you can just write this in. It's a simple write-in. But if you don't know it and you're having to construct it, it seems such a strange way for this anagram to unwind. It just takes ages to get it. Okay, let's have a look at 4 down. 8 letters. Viewers support. Well, a viewer is an I. So I something. Support certainly needed in European discussion. Oh, I do know this one then. Okay. So, again, we're very much helped here by having what looks like I at the start of it. So, we're looking for an 8-letter word, which is a viewer's support. Now, how does the recipe work? Certainly needed in European discussion. Talk about this every week. Some answers or some words in cryptic clues can be abbreviated to their initial. But if they are abbreviated, it has to be supported by the dictionary. So in this clue, you can't abbreviate the word certainly to C. Because if we look at C in the dictionary, we will not find... see, there's lots of abbreviations listed, loads, but you will not find certainly listed among them. But if we go to E, we will find there, European. So European can be abbreviated to E. So the way this works is that we need a short synonym, again, for certainly, and that's needed inside, so it's inside E, which is this E, and a short synonym for a discussion. The key, I suppose, is the word certainly. If you said certainly to someone, if somebody asked you a question, you said certainly, what would you be saying? You'd be saying yes. And because we think this might begin with I, all of a sudden this is becoming easier, isn't it? Now we need a 4-letter word for a discussion, and that is a talk. And that gives us eye stalk, which is a strange word, but I have seen it before, and it must be whatever's in your eye. It sounds horrible, doesn't it? An eye stalk. Should we actually look at the definition? Eye stalk. A stalk on the dorsal surface of the head of many... Oh, it's of a crustacea. I thought it was a human. Bearing an eye. Okay, so that's fine. Oh, now, what's this one then? Race... So if this was EG, this would be a G. Should we just check 14 down? 9 letters. Lucky, having strength to catch large fish. Lucky, I want to be fluky, because fluke has a sort of a fluke. You get a fluke on a fish, don't you? Or a dolphin has a fluke. Fluky, no, forget fluky, it's not going to be that. Lucky, fortunate. Although I think it might begin with G. Lucky. Good. That doesn't mean lucky, does it? Having strength to catch large fish. I think this is going to be the name of a fish. It's got, and I think it'll have L in it because L is a valid abbreviation for large. Now, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's not in my dictionary, but it is something that is accepted, and it's totally fine for it to be accepted, because if you were buying a t-shirt and you saw L on the label, you would know it meant large, wouldn't you? So large and L are very synonymous, the same as S for small also isn't in the dictionary, or at least not in my dictionary. Sorry, Shane, I am going to get the new one. I am. Anyway, let's move swiftly on. Let's have a look at 5 down. 6 letters. Small. Small. So, based on what I've just said, I suspect that is this S here. Domestic fowl. Finish off fruit. Domestic fowl. Finish off fruit. What's going on here? Domestic fowl. That's like a chicken, isn't it? Or a hen. Small domestic fowl. Finish off fruit. I do not understand why I can't write that in. That is appalling. I'm not having any inspiration at all there. I'm going to go on to 12 across 9 letters. Came across piece of poetry set in jazzy style. Right. Okay, now this again relies, for me to solve this, I'm relying on having seen something before, and that will so often be the case with these clues. If you are new to solving, do not worry if a lot of what I'm saying just seems weird. It's only practice. Jazzy style. I know a 4-letter word for a jazzy style, and it's the word trad. And I apologise, jazz is a type of music I never really got into. But trad jazz, there we go. Traditional jazz. So, all of a sudden, given this, the clue becomes solvable, because it's the other side of the clue then that's going to be my definition. So, came across, piece of poetry set in jazzy style. So we now need a 5-letter word for a piece of poetry, and we're going to put it in the word trad, and it's going to mean came across. And I'm sure you've all got it. If we put verse in the middle, traversed, that means came across, and we've got trad around verse, and we're done. Oh dear. So what's this then? Sultan. Oh yeah, okay. Now that only rings, okay, so small is not S here. This is Sultan. Now, okay, I can't remember quite what the definition. I mean, a sultan, obviously you get the Sultan of Brunei, for example, but sultan is a word for some sort of domestic fowl. It must be a small one. We'll check that in a moment. But the reason I'm confident about this, and it's ringing a bell, is finish off fruit. I think we're thinking of the word sultana, and we're taking the finish off it. Oh, sorry, it's got a bit windy and my door's blowing shut. So, not easy, but very much helped by having these checking letters. So let's go and have a look. I'm not going to change that. I'm pretty confident. Sultan, a Muslim ruler, a small white variety of domestic fowl with feathered legs and feet. So this is an example of a clue where we were actually not helped by getting photosensitive first, because it looks, I'm so expecting this S to be small, to be an abbreviation for the small. So I'm looking for a 6-letter fruit, which I'm not going to think of because it's got nothing to do with the answer. But I mean, also sultan for a domestic fowl. I mean, it's a vicious definition. And you know, I think it's by far the least common of the meanings of sultan that most people would know. Let's try 6 down. 5-4. What duke has attendant beginning to work? What duke has attendant beginning to work? Yeah, so I don't know what this is, but the trick here is going to be to read it correctly. What duke has? A duke. I mean, it could obviously be a duke, as in the Duke of Westminster or something like that. But it could be, a duke could be a fist, couldn't it? So what does a fist have? I don't know. An attendant is like a page or a helper or an aide beginning to work. I can't see it. That's annoying because I don't think we're far off getting that one. Let's try the V one here, which looks immediately, when you see meat and you've got a 7-letter word beginning with V, I'm immediately suspicious I know the answer to this one. So meat cooker, missing lid, is working. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. We can do this one. Meat cooker, missing lid is working. It's a very nice surface, it really is. So have you had if when we saw meat, did you have an inkling as to what the answer might be? Now, if you have got that inkling, test yourself. Read the rest of the clue and check that the recipe is giving you what you thought the answer was. And hopefully lots of you have said that you thought the answer was venison. How does it work? Well, a cooker is an oven, and that's missing its lid. It's missing its first letter. I think it's probably fair to say that a missing lid from a word, that could only be used to indicate the first letter in a down clue, because a down clue does have a lid, whereas an across clue, you know, if you're trying to say take this letter off, the first letter off, that's not really the lid of the word, is it? It's the left-hand side of it. But I think oven definitely has a lid if it's going downwards. And then is just the word is, and if something is working, it is on. It's on duty. So venison. Now let's check this one then. 5 letters. Join backing group. Join backing group. Right. Okay. Now that's interesting, because I don't know which way round this clue goes. Right. Okay. So let's use the principles that we know. We know the first or the last word is very likely to be the definition. So we're either looking for a word that means join, or a word that means group, or perhaps a word that means backing group. I suppose there could be. I mean, backing group, there are examples of backing groups, aren't there? Bob Marley and the Wailers. I mean, it's not Wailers, but something like that. They would be a backing group. Anyway, group could be. Now, I thought of a group that would fit here, a musical group. And that was a nonette, which is a piece of music for 9. What is it? A nonette is also 9 people playing music together. So could it be nonette? And that sort of works, doesn't it? Because there's a type of joint called a tenon joint. So a join is a tenon, and that's been backed, it's been reversed. But here's the problem here. If we... Oh, hang on, I'm missing out letters now. What about if we wrote the answer tenon in for a join, and the recipe was saying backing group, backing up a word that means group? Well, that could also be valid, couldn't it? So I don't think we're going to know which way round this goes. Oh, title something here. What Duke has a title. Yeah, lovely. An attendant, I even said it, is a page. And a title page is the beginning of a work of literature. So that's lovely. What Duke has attendant beginning to work? I really like that. It's very clever. And that tells us we're actually looking for a tenon here. And it's a reversal of nonette. Now this looks like one-dimensional. Is that going to fit? Might do. Like a line. Well, a line is linear. It's one-dimensional. That goes straight. No main line does, sadly. Yeah, that must be an anagram of no main line does. That looks like it's the right number of letters. It's 14, isn't it? So one-dimensional is what we're looking for here. And again, we're very fortunate because we had, once you get the N here, I mean, that's pretty gettable, isn't it? So we've sort of done the top of the grid. We haven't done this one. This looks like, I thought it was going to be P.T. Barnum, but maybe it's not. Six letters. Firearms, a variety of gun carried by French gentlemen. Okay. Have you got it? Maybe you remember Tom Selleck. No, this is not really anything to do with Tom Selleck. But French gentleman. What is that saying? That is a good question. MM. I know that is a French gentleman. And I was just testing myself as to what is the abbreviation. It must be for monsieur, mustn't it? But why is it MM? I don't know, but it just is. So in my brain, I've got French gentleman and MM being a valid abbreviation. But I don't actually know off the top of my head what. Oh, messieurs. Oh, was it plural? Gentlemen. Yes, it was gentlemen. Ah, I see. So messieurs apparently is MM. Two lots of monsieur or something? I don't know. But French gentleman can be abbreviated to MM. I mean, impossible to know unless you've seen it before. And a variety of gun. A, is this A? Variety of gun is an anagram of the word gun. And that gives us magnum. And magnum is not PI. It's magnum, a firearm, as in a powerful handgun. Now, a drop of chalk, say, in cataract. Or is it something like rockfall? I wonder if it is rockfall. A drop of chalk would be a rock. I mean, chalk is a type of rock. So a drop of chalk would be an example. So the word say here is saying a rockfall would be an example of a drop, or a drop of chalk would be an example of a rock falling. And a cataract on the Hudson. So maybe in American English, a rockfall is a word for a cataract. I mean, that feels right. I would, if the F is checked and justified by 14 down, I would leave it in and be quite confident. But we're going to need to check this definition because I don't recognise it. Let's try 17 across now. 6 letters. Tie up dog during visit. Right. So, again, force yourself. What do you think the definition is here? Now, the way to get at the definition in this clue is to think about instructions. If something is giving you an instruction that might appear in a recipe, that's very likely to be wordplay, isn't it? So this phrase here, during visit, dog during visit, that suggests to me we could read that as a recipe. Think of a word for dog, and that's going to appear during a short word for a visit. That could be wordplay. Now, tie up, you might respond and say, well, hang on, tie up could be a wordplay. It could be saying take the word tie and turn it upwards. Well, that's true, but this is an across clue, so less likely. But the word during, I think, is the key. Because if the word during is not part of the wordplay, what's it doing? It must be part of the definition. And during visit, there aren't 6-letter words that mean during visit or dog during visit. So we're looking for a word that means tie up. Do we know any short synonyms for a dog? There are some, like pom, I think, pom for Pomeranian. But also the one that comes up a lot is a cur. If somebody's a cur, they're a dog. They're sort of a rascal or a wretch. And if I put cur in the middle, if I visit somebody, I go to see them, I can create the word secure. And if you tie up something, you secure it. So, I mean, that's a good example of a clue that is instructive, I think, because you can sort of force yourself to understand it if you give it enough attention. Let's try 18 down, 7 letters. Oh, large crater. I'm immediately thinking of a word here. In Central America, sheltering tree. Okay, so I've got this one just because I happen to know a word for a large crater beginning with C that's 7 letters. And that is the word caldera. Weird word, but how does it work? In here is interesting. It's doing the duty of an equal sign. It's saying that large crater is to be found in the following recipe. Central America, well, that can be CA as an abbreviation. Sheltering a tree, so surrounding a tree which is the alder tree, ALDER. That gives caldera. Let's just check that I'm not misleading you. I'm sure you all know the word caldera. A large crater formed by the collapse of the central part of a volcano after an eruption. So we could do this one. I'm going to go back to this at the last moment, so I'm going to keep trying to get these across ones. 22 across, 9 letters. Oh, Dorset Village. I hate clues that say things like this, because, you know, if you've been to Dorset a lot, you might immediately have a knowledge of Dorset villages. But if you haven't, and you spend your time in other parts of the country, you know, the name of some particular Dorset village might just never, ever arrive in my brain. Dorset Village. Scheme turned to chaos, losing millions. Scheme turned to chaos. Okay, well, I am worried this is the name of a Dorset village. Okay, if you no, I have got this. Have you heard of the Tolpuddle Martyrs? I think that must be from a Dorset village. The way I've got that is entirely from the wordplay. Scheme turned. Do I know any short words for schemes or to scheme? If you scheme, you plan, don't you? But you also might plot. So, scheme turned, I suddenly thought, oh, that could give me this. Now, I only know one word that fits this pattern. It's Tolpuddle. And then I see chaos is a muddle, losing millions, M can be an abbreviation for millions. And so Tolpuddle. I wonder if Tolpuddle Martyrs are actually listed in the dictionary. They might not be. No, they're not. Tolpuddle, if I do a full text search, will I find it? No. This is another reason why I think it would be good for me to get the new dictionary. I think the new dictionary might have more references like this in it. So Tolpuddle, I think, must be a Dorset village. Let's try this one. Is it going to be opera or Odeon or omega? I'm guessing it's one of those. Work for stage. It's probably opera. Right. Pope dismissing foremost artists' work for stage. Yeah. So let's try and... Again, this phrase, dismissing foremost. What might that mean? If we're trying to think about it as a recipe, it's literally saying, take the word Pope and dismiss its foremost letter, dismiss its first letter. Okay? Artist, this comes up all the time. It comes up all the time. It's completely mad that it comes up all the time, but it does. A Royal Academician is a member of the Royal Academy, and members of the Royal Academy are artists. So if you see artist in a cryptic crossword clue, it is 9 times out of 10 RA. And that gives us opera, which is obviously a work for the stage. Right, let's have a look at fortunate would fit. Lucky, fortunate, okay. So it wasn't the name of a fish, but it has got tuna in it, hasn't it, which is a large fish. Having strength is forte. If you played something with strength on or forte just does mean strength, doesn't it? So strength has caught a large fish, the tuna, and fortunate is lucky. So rockfall, we need to go and have a look at this. What is going on with this? Oh no. Does that mean it's wrong? A fall of rock. A mass of fallen rock. Oh, hang on. I'm not going to change it. I will force myself to submit it even if the answer's wrong, but I'm now worried it is wrong. A drop of chalk, say. In cataract. Oh, Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson, that does ring the vaguest of bells. Wasn't Rock Hudson a film star? And then a cataract. Well, a cataract is a waterfall, so a rockfall. So is there, okay, so the definition here, I think, is a drop of chalk. Yeah, I mean, it's an outrageous definition because it's so difficult. But I think that's what it... I mean, the other thing that keeps coming up in my mind is snooker. If you drop the chalk, that's far more likely to be something I would do in this context than experience a cataract on the Hudson River. Okay, I think that's what's going on though. So, Rock Hudson. Well, this question mark, you might say, what's the question mark doing? Well, it's because Hudson, somebody with the surname Hudson, could be anybody in the world with the surname Hudson. But one example would be Rock Hudson, and that's what the question mark is doing there. It's sort of saying, oh, sorry, it's really bad weather, and now my door is squeaking and keeps closing. So the question mark here is to indicate one possible instance of a Hudson would be Rock Hudson. Cataract is a waterfall, so rockfall, and I think the definition here is a drop of chalk, say. Very difficult, indeed, but we have solved it. Now, should we go for this one? Let's have a look at this one without looking at the clue. I can only think of water now because I've got water in my head from waterfall. Water in the water. I don't know. It's not right, is it? Let's go. Collected. So 5, 2, 3, 4. Collected beside Iris Murdoch novel. Delivered just in time. Oh dear, I hope I'm not going to need to know any Iris Murdoch novels to solve this clue. If you're collected, you're sort of calm, aren't you? I'm going to need help with this one. 21 down. 6 letters. 5 in a horse race with no unknown, perhaps unusually. Oh, that's very clever. That's a really clever clue. Right. If you see references to numbers in cryptic crossword clues, if the number is written, so say 5 here had been written as the number 5 rather than F-I-V-E, then quite often it can be referring to the answer at 5 down. But when it's written like this, it's more likely to be referencing the Roman numeral for the number 5, which is V. So V in a horse race with no unknown. Now, as a technical matter, this is a really instructive clue, because what's the A doing in this clue? 5 in a horse race with no unknown means exactly the same as 5 in horse race with no unknown. So the reason that John has included the A, the indefinite article, in the clue is because it's essential for his recipe that he's giving us. So he's saying, put V in the middle of A and then a word for a horse race with no unknown. Now, if you see references to unknown in cryptic crosswords clues, it's almost always referring to mathematical unknowns. And you'll know from your school algebra, or perhaps from your adult algebra, unknowns were typically X and Y and Z, weren't they? So we need to think of a word for a horse race. And one horse race that might come to mind is the Derby. Now that has an unknown in it, the Y. So we're going to chop that mathematical unknown out. We're going to be left with D-E-R-B. We're going to put that around V, and we're going to get the word adverb. And unusually is an example of an adverb in grammar. Isn't it brilliant? That's a brilliant clue. Sorry about my door. I should have locked it shut, but it didn't occur to me we were going to get such bad weather while I was recording this. Collected beside Iris Murdoch novel, delivered just in time by the something by the... I don't know. Okay, let's try 25 across 9 letters. Radiation, possibly, is weak round about an atom that's charged. Radiation, possibly, is weak round about an atom that's charged. I don't know what this is, but this phrase, an atom that's charged, makes me think of the word ion. An ion is a charged particle. So, I'm wondering if this ends with ion. It's a very natural ending, isn't it? And if that's right, then this is a 9-letter word which means radiation, possibly. Radiation is weak. I haven't got this yet. Weak, beginning with E. Or weak round, if something's weak. What is it, pale? What? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not getting that one. Oh, we've got an I at the end of this one. I never saw this. Ah, okay. So this is a musical reference. For beginners, take up the trombone in passage all play. Now, if you're familiar with musical notation, you will know in an orchestral score, if you see T-U-T-T-I, tutti, it means this is a passage everyone plays. Now, how does it work? Well, it's not a reference to musical beginners. It's saying if we take the beginnings of the words take up the trombone and in, we would get T-U-T-T-I. So that's our recipe, and passage all play is tutti. So we can do that. Let's try for 23 down. 5 letters. Old noble in northeastern Kent mainly. Old noble in northeastern Kent maybe. Why does that begin with T? I don't want that to begin with T. Sorry, I don't know what that's talking about. In northeastern Kent mainly. If you see references to Kent in cryptic crosswords, it can be a reference to the southeast. Kent is in the southeast of England. So, I mean, has this got SE in it somehow? Old noble. I don't know. Not sure. Let's try 19 across 8 letters. Alert because of conflict between bridge opponents. I want that to be... I know what I want that to be. I haven't worked out quite why it's that, but I want this to be forewarn. If you alert someone to something, you forewarn them. Why do I like forewarn? Well, it's because it's got the word war in it, and war is a conflict. And I'm vaguely... I feel like it's got a reference to bridge opponents. So what's that getting at? Well, in bridge, the card game, North and South play as a pair against East-West. So bridge opponents are going to be something like EN, because East and North would be opponents. I'm just going to write it in, and then we'll have a... Let me just think about this. E and N is there. So, right, because of, for, F-O-R means because of, for the reason that. Between bridge opponents, E and N, we've got the word war. So I was quite close to actually understanding that first time out. So let's try 16 down. 8 letters again. Half of West End area accepts a new contract. I don't... I have got this one actually. Yeah, okay. So here, again, the helpful part of the clue is it's not too difficult here, I think, to work out which side of the clue is the definition. Because words like half of west, is very, I mean, it sounds like something you might see in a recipe. Take half of a cucumber, or in my famous recipe for treacled mackerel, I took half of the box of sugar, and that was delicious, although nobody ate it apart from me. Now, so half is very likely to be recipe. The other side of the clue, therefore, is going to be the definition. Now, it could be new contract, but do we know any words for a new contract? I suppose you can novate a contract, but probably we're looking for an 8-letter word that just means contract. Now, that doesn't necessarily make it much easier, because a contract could be a legal contract, or it could mean to contract, to shorten. But that we're looking for that sort of word, and I did think of a word that could go in there, which was covenant, and that was the key, really, because I can see that's got something to do with Covent Garden in it, and that's part of the West End. So how does it work? Half of West End area is Covent, as in Covent Garden, and that accepts A, which is that A, and an abbreviation for new, which is that N. And let's just check that new can be abbreviated to N, because it's good form to do that, and there it is. So we're all good with covenant there. And by the looks right, doesn't it? So this letter, which is going to, I bet you it's going to be a vowel. Let's look at 20 down. 7 letters. Advanced series of steps in audition for dancer. Okay. It's a nice clue. It's a nice clue. Now, what is an A level as an exam? What does A stand for there? And you all know it stands for advanced, doesn't it? It's not ordinary level, it's advanced level. So A is a valid abbreviation for the word advanced. A series of steps in audition. This is, again, very instructive, because homophones, words that sound like other words but are spelt differently and often have different meanings, are very, very common in puzzles. But again, John has to tell us that he's going to make us use a homophone. So this phrase in audition is not referring to somebody auditioning for a role. It's referring to your hearing. And this could be done in with other phrases like we hear, or by the sounds of it, or one catches. And what was the one we had the other day? Out of trap or something, to refer to trap, your trap being your mouth. So in audition is saying we need a word that sounds like it's a series of steps. Now, if you were going up a series of steps, what might you call a series of steps you go up? You might call it a stair, mightn't you? A stairway. So if I spell stair like that, then I can get the dancer Fred Astaire. And that's why we need the in audition here, because we have to somehow make sure we're cluing this E. So something by the something. Saved by the bell. Delivered just in time. So that's going to be right. Saved by the bell. So collected, saved. If you save stamps, you collect them, don't you? Beside by. Iris Murdoch novel must be The Bell. I'm afraid I don't know that. And something delivered just in time is going to be Saved by the Bell. So we've only got 2 left. We've got this one, which oh no, this is the Old Noble. And we've got this one, which I also didn't know. Radiation. Radiation, possibly, is weak, round, about an. See, it does make this phrase about an. Again, what's the an doing in this clue? Because if the clue read radiation possibly is weak roundabout atom that's charged, that would mean almost the same as radiation possibly is weak round about an atom that's charged. So that makes me think that an is there as part of the wordplay. So radiation. So I think we need a word for is weak. A 4-letter word for is weak, ending in E, that we're going to turn around, and we've put that about the word an, and we've followed it with a word for an atom that's charged. Weak. Pale keeps coming into my brain. Effete, but that's far too long. I don't think it can be pale, can it? Elan. No, that's not a word. Radiation, possibly. Tame. Radiation is an emanation. And tame, if you're tame, if something's a bit tame, it's weak, isn't it? So an emanation is radiation, something that emanates from something. And now we've just got Thane is an old noble. Now why is it Thane? Thanet. Thanet is some part of Kent. I don't really know my old geographies enough, but I'm sure I've heard of Thanet. Thanet. So maybe if Thanet is an old word, or maybe a current word for northeastern Kent, and we take the main part of it, we just chop off the end word, the end letter, and we get Thane. Let's see if I'm not going to change that, but I just want to see if it's in the dictionary. Thanet. No. No, it's not. Okay. But I think that's going to be correct. So we've got it done. Let's submit it. Oh goodness, wind again. Okay, and we were right. So we have solved it, and we've gone through that quite carefully, and I hope that's useful. It's a lovely puzzle. Again, my favourite clue was probably adverb, I think. I really like that. And it's just John doing his stuff. And I don't know if there is... Let's just see if we can see a Halloween reference. So if you're looking for sort of hidden tricks in the puzzle, having a look at the diagonals, what's that say? Perlotl. No, that doesn't quite make a word. But John is a master of hiding. I think, does John still do the concise crossword in the Times? I'm not sure. I might be misspeaking there. He certainly did them for a long time, and he would hide all sorts of Ninas in them. I can't see anything in that one, but that doesn't mean that there isn't anything. But let's have a quick go, hopefully a quick go at the quick cryptic while we're here. I'll go a bit faster on this. I'll try and go quickly, and we'll see how we get on. So, royal incomes half covered by news media. Oh, I don't know. Detect the best turns. I also don't know that. Maybe piano phrase changed. Maybe it's perhaps. Deduce hell, inferno, surely. Pantomime character recalled in break. Cinderella. That must be Cinderella, isn't it? Feels like it's an anagram. Jump spring. Okay, so we should be at princess, must be the royal. Decorate, what's this? Refinery, maybe? Plants extremely red, elaborate decoration. Finery, yeah. Plant is in a refinery, yeah. Meager enemy, concur is agree. After bringing forward note, ambiguous about energy. After bringing forward nuclear? Unclear. Yeah, I think it's nuclear. King returned gentleman's dagger. Is that Dirk? Maybe not. Is it Chris? That's hard. Yeah, that's Chris. Gosh, that's a difficult word for the quick. Drunken rave up gate crash by northern upstart. Don't know. Doctor rates provider of shocking treatment. A taser, probably. Detect. Spot. Drunken rave up. Upstart is a parvenu. Gosh. 10 down. Job control. Occupation, I think. Let's try for this one. Adder's venom. Finally treated with serum. And adder is a summer in maths. Faculty regularly. Joining core trio of alumni. Fall for some. Autumn. Walk in the park. No something. No sweat. Let's try this one. If I can get to it. Stores first class service. Why can't I get that immediately? I don't know. Second bishop in valley is not fixed. Movable veil, isn't it? He scored 50 on oral exam I'd brought back. He scored. It's going to be Vivaldi, probably. Let's try that one. Victory period does not include last season. Win term. Oh, look. Vivaldi, 4 seasons. A clergyman cut grass border verge. A robe. Antagonistic posture. Attitude? Maybe? Why can't I type? Terrible. Jacob's mate runs vessel. Ewer. It's a sheep reference. Swirling patterns in part of church. Transept. Entertain. Amuse. Store. Amass. There we go. I think that's got the 4 seasons in it. A reference to Vivaldi. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Isn't that lovely? And then Vivaldi. Now, has it actually got... Just let me have a quick look. Has it actually, because it could, when you're trying to do these fast, you don't pick up any number of things that could be going on. I don't know, but you can see these sort of radials going into internal to the puzzle. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Vivaldi's there. It's a beautiful idea. Who's this by? Cheeko. Very cheeky Cheeko. And I didn't actually look at where was my time? Oh, not terrible. 6th. Oh, just behind Mark. But I was commentating. I mean, I would have been much faster. Much faster. Not. If I hadn't talked at all. But anyway, not too terrible. Let me know in the comments how you got on. Let us know whether these puzzles or these videos are helping you with your own solving. That's the idea of them. And please do like, please do subscribe. We ticked over 670,000 subscribers this week, which is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. But the stats tell us that more than half the people who watch the videos are not subscribed. So if you can help with that, we'd really appreciate it. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.